This is Brian, the Wealth Decisions Guy, and my goal is to help you make better decisions around your money and your life. If you caught the $540,000 tax time bomb episode, you know how Mark's traditional retirement strategy cost his family over $500,000 compared to Lisa's strategic, save smarter Roth approach. Today, we're rewriting Mark's story with math that actually works, and it might just change how you think about Roth conversions and retirement planning. But here's the thing, Mark's story doesn't have to be that way, and it doesn't have to end that way. Now, obviously, no one could go back in time, but the purpose of this episode is we're going to assume that Mark meets a financial advisor at age 55. And this financial advisor recommends a wealth optimization strategy that involves 9 smart wealth decisions. But the most important one is often not talked about in YouTube videos. So you're going to want to stick around for that strategy. It's going to completely change how you think about the most popular strategy recommended by advisors for folks that have a lot of money in pre-tax 401ks or IRAs. So let's rewind Mark's story with the first smart wealth decision. He makes a brilliant move by the recommendation of his financial advisor at age 55 that transforms his entire retirement trajectory. So smart wealth decision number 1 is the Roth 401k strategy. From age 55 to age 63, Mark switches from traditional to Roth 401k contributions. He maximizes his contributions, and we're going to use $22,500, even though the limits have bumped up to $23,000, plus a $7,500 catch-up contribution because he's over the age of 50, for a total of $30,000 annually in Roth 401k contributions for 8 years. Why only 8 years? We're going to get to that in just a moment. That's a total of $240,000 going into his Roth 401k accounts. So smart wealth decision number 2, the early conversion window. From age 58 to age 63, Mark starts Roth conversions. Now you might ask, why doesn't he just start contributing to a Roth instead of doing a Roth conversion strategy? The problem is that he has money in an existing IRA, and the backdoor Roth strategy doesn't work well when you have an existing IRA because of the pro rata rule. You'll be taxed on your contribution based upon the percentage you have in your existing IRA in relation to what you're contributing to the backdoor Roth. Plus, this allows him to maximize the amount that he could put away in converting money from his IRA to a Roth instead of contributing. So his advisor looks at how much room is in his tax bracket, and they decide on a $47,000 annual Roth conversion strategy from his IRA to his Roth. So total conversions over that period of time are about $282,000, with taxes of $67,600 paid from savings, so the full amount goes into his Roth IRA. So this leads me to wealth decision principle number 1. Use every inch of your tax bracket. Wasted bracket space is wasted opportunity. Then put your highest growth investments in your tax-free accounts. So now let's look at smart wealth decision 3, the IRMAA smart transition for his final 2 years from age 64 to age 65. Mark's advisor recognizes that Roth 401k contributions, because they're after tax and don't offer any tax deduction, would push his income high enough to trigger IRMAA penalties at age 66 through age 67, because IRMAA looks back 2 years. And IRMAA stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount, and it can cost retirees between $3,000 to $6,000 in extra Medicare premiums. So at the advice of his financial advisor, he switches back to traditional 401k contributions for his final 2 working years, contributing about $60,000 to his traditional 401k while keeping his income below $106,000 for IRMAA purposes for single filers. Remember, his income was $150,000, and if he contributed $30,000 to his pre-tax 401k and took the $15,000 standard deduction, he'd be just below the IRMAA bracket. Then Mark's financial advisor asked Mark what's important to him in retirement, besides maximizing his wealth for himself and his family. And one of the things that was important to him on top of his needs was the ability to do some traveling for a period of time. He also wanted to help his kids a little bit with different things in life while he was still alive. So he allocates $15,000 annually for travel from ages 65 through age 75 and $10,000 annually to help his adult children with different needs. This $25,000 annual lifestyle spending totals about $275,000 over 11 years. This is money that creates memories and family impact rather than just focusing on all these maximization strategies and leaving this big legacy at the end of it all. So smart wealth decision number 4 is the strategic pause from age 63 to age 65. Mark stops conversions at age 63 to ensure his income from ages 63 through 64 is clean for IRMAA purposes. No conversion income means no IRMAA surcharges from age 65 to age 66. Now let's move on to smart decision number 5, the asset location foundation. At the advice of Mark's financial advisor, he implements asset location across all of his accounts. So what does this mean? What most advisors don't talk about in videos or podcast episodes on Roth conversions and things like that is what types of investments you should have in your different accounts. They're usually comparing the same type of return when they're looking at an IRA versus a Roth. And since Mark is approaching retirement, he needs a balanced portfolio with a mix of stocks and bonds to provide an income in retirement. So Mark's advisor recommends putting his conservative investments in his traditional pre-tax 401k accounts or traditional IRAs, and then he puts his growth and aggressive growth investments in his Roth accounts. And by doing this, he gets his asset allocation mix right for his stage of life and maximizes the growth of his tax-free accounts. His conservative investments in this example earn 5% annually, while the growth and aggressive growth investments in his Roth 401k and Roth IRA earn 9% annually. Coming up next, we're going to show you how Mark's retirement years accelerate his conversion strategy with zero IRMAA consequences, and why coordinating Roth 401k contributions with a Roth conversion strategy keeps more wealth and much lower forced RMDs. So smart wealth decision number 6. Retirement conversion acceleration from age 65 to age 70. Mark retires with clean IRMAA eligibility and multiple Roth buckets already growing at 9%. He needs $66,000 annually to live comfortably, which requires him to take $87,000 out in withdrawals from his traditional accounts at a 24% tax bracket. So Mark resumes a less aggressive conversion strategy than when he was working. He converts $33,000 annually to the Roth IRA for 5 years, paying the $7,900 annual tax from savings, so the full amount grows tax-free. Mark now has Roth money growing in 2 different buckets. The Roth 401k, he contributed about $240,000 at a growth of 9%. Which equates to about $415,000 by age 65. The Roth conversions were about $447,000, also growing at 9%. So here's our second wealth decision principle. Sometimes you pay temporary penalties or taxes for permanent gains. Strategic financial planning means accepting short-term costs for long-term wealth. So because Mark switched back to traditional 401k contributions at age 64 to 65 and paused conversions, he avoids IRMAA surcharges when he starts Medicare. His retirement withdrawals of only $87,000 annually and his smaller $33,000 Roth conversions keep him completely under IRMAA thresholds with that smaller conversion because he hasn't started taking Social Security yet. So this leads me to smart wealth decision number 7, the Social Security multiplier. Mark's advisor recommends he delay Social Security from age 65 to age 70. His Social Security is $3,600 monthly at age 65, but at age 70, he gets a 32% increase, up to $4,750, which is worth almost an extra $14,000 annually for life. By delaying Social Security, he still is able to have a window of opportunity to continue converting some money from traditional accounts to Roth accounts. Still ahead, we're going to talk about Mark's workplace optimization that creates a dramatic RMD reduction later in retirement, and the mind-blowing final numbers that show a $3.3 million family advantage by age 73. So Mark has created a more balanced retirement approach. His traditional account balance includes his original balance minus the conversions plus the $60,000 from his final 2 working years. Strategic Mark with a lifestyle-focused optimization has approximately 1.5 million in traditional accounts at age 73 that have been growing at 5%. Meanwhile, his Roth accounts have grown substantially. His Roth 401k has grown to approximately 950,000. His Roth IRA has grown to approximately 1.7 million. And he spent about 275,000 on travel and family support, creating memories and better relationships with his kids. By doing all this, he creates more family wealth and drastically reduces his forced RMDs later in retirement, which gives him more tax efficiency and a better legacy to leave behind with more wealth in Roth accounts. He stays in the lowest tax brackets with zero IRMAA exposure throughout his retirement. A lot of people think that Medicare is going to pay for all their health care. Some folks might have additional premiums on Medicare, but not very many retirees are aware that they could be charged almost the equivalent of the medical insurance that they had when they were working. Now we're moving on to smart wealth decision number 8, the balanced overflow strategy. Mark takes his $56,000 RMD and pays about $13,400 in taxes. Combined with his higher Social Security of $57,000, he has about $100,000 in after-tax income. He lives on $66,000 and does some traveling and helps his kids out. And then he invests that excess amount into growth investments, earning 9%. And by age 80, this overflow taxable investment account grows to about $300,000. So now Mark has a balanced 3-bucket portfolio. He has traditional accounts for required income, substantial Roth 401k and Roth IRA accounts totaling about $2.6 million, growing tax-free, and now a growing taxable investment account. Plus, he's traveled the world and helped his family along the way. Coming up next is the final smart wealth decision. Plus, I'm going to give you the final tallies on how this optimization strategy delivers an enormous amount of extra family wealth, but still allowed him to live a richer life during his retirement. So smart wealth decision number 9 is the IRA charitable strategy. From age 80 to age 90, Mark implements qualified charitable distributions, or QCDs, and he donates 20% of his RMD directly to charities, which equates to about $13,000 annually tax-free. And over 10 years, that's $130,000 in charitable impact. And when you contribute directly to a charity from your IRA, you don't pay any taxes. So now let's compare Strategic Mark with a balanced lifestyle optimization plan compared to the original Mark from our episode a couple weeks ago. Original Mark's heirs inherit about $2.6 million after taxes. Strategic Mark's heirs inherit about $3.1 million in Roth 401k and Roth IRA accounts, which is completely tax-free. They also inherit about $1.7 million in a traditional pre-tax account and $750,000 in a taxable investment account, which was growing at 9%. And that taxable investment account gets a step up in cost basis to the heirs, basically acting like a Roth IRA. So the total before taxes is about $5.5 million. After the heirs pay taxes on the $1.7 million, which has to be stretched out over 10 years, the total to the heirs after taxes is about $4.85 million. That's $2.25 million more than original Mark. Plus, he traveled the world and helped his kids and donated to charity along the way. The life balance advantage is Mark chose to live richly, making smart, advisor-led wealth decisions rather than just accumulating wealth for the end of it all. You know, the whole point of saving for retirement is to be able to enjoy your wealth. But if you're smart about it, you can also make sure the next generation is able to enjoy more of your hard-earned wealth as well. So here's our third wealth decision principle. Optimal financial planning includes living richly, not just accumulating wealth, balancing creating memories with building a legacy. So there's a lot of moving parts to a wealth optimization plan, and there's a lot of factors that come into play. But here's 5 specific steps that you could implement similar to Mark's strategy throughout your life. Obviously, some of them are going to be over your lifetime. So some of these you may not implement today, but be aware of them and have a plan when they come up. You can do this on your own or hire an experienced financial advisor to help you build and keep more of your wealth over time. So step number 1 is to optimize your workplace retirement plan. This requires you to look at your specific plan options, your contribution limits and catch-up opportunities, and coordinate that with some type of conversion strategy if it makes sense for your particular situation. Switch to Roth 401k contributions if you're in a lower to mid tax bracket. If you're in a higher tax bracket, maybe do a strategy of a combo of the two. If you're in the highest tax bracket possible, do a small percentage in your Roth and invest that money aggressively. And then when you retire and you're in a lower tax bracket, consider a Roth conversion strategy. But watch for IRMAA implications. If you're approaching retirement and you're really close to that threshold, you may want to switch back to pre-tax contributions. Step number 2, balance wealth and lifestyle. Don't optimize every dollar if it means missing out on life. Of course, you want to budget for travel and maybe you want to help your family, but also you need to make some memories and live life for today, but still execute a smart wealth decision strategy. Step number 3 is implement some type of asset location across all of your accounts. Put your conservative investments in your traditional 401k accounts or traditional IRAs. You may not want to do this if you're 30 or 40, but if you're approaching retirement 5 to 8 years away, you need to have some type of fixed income in your portfolio to get ready for taking an income in retirement. So put those investments in your pre-tax accounts. Step number 4 is consider hiring a financial advisor to help you with all these important wealth decisions that you'll have to make along your financial journey. And step number 5, this is later in retirement, but think about using qualified charitable distributions from your IRA if you're charitably inclined. If you have all the money you need to live comfortably, but you want to impact certain charities while you're still alive, instead of having to go to all of them at the end of it all, do some type of charitable distributions from your IRA. And it doesn't have to be your entire RMD. It could be 20% or even as little as 5%. So with Mark working with a financial advisor and building some type of strategic wealth optimization plan, he was able to enjoy his life and travel and impact his kids and charities along the way, but also leave a much better legacy at the end of it all. Making smart wealth decisions literally can add millions to your family's legacy over time. So that's it for today's episode. Next week, we're going to talk about the best retirement investment account, and it's not what you think. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you get updated on next week's episode. And I would love if you pre-ordered my new book, Momentous Decisions, 7 Steps to Better Health, More Wealth, and a Richer Life. You can find the pre-order link to get your copy in the description of this video. And once again, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or a family member, like, subscribe, or make a comment. My goal with the Wealth Decisions podcast is to reach over 100,000 people in the Twin Cities and beyond so people can live a richer life. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.